I hope you've really enjoyed this conference. I want to thank Sandy and Mark for their tremendous work in putting this on. And all their colleagues and team members that made this happen. If you think about it, though, we had three major themes. We had talent, urban revitalization, and cohesion. And the keynote speakers, I think, did a tremendous job of pointing that out. And as you just walk through this conference, starting with the first day, Mike Rowe, Dean Kamen, these are truly people that care. Mike about skilled trades, critically important. I thought it was wonderful. You got to see what Dean Kamen can do. And he is becoming a real advocate for Michigan. And hopefully you can feel that with what we've done with FIRST Robotics. And don't forget those world championships are coming to Detroit. I'm the mayor, and I appreciate the mayor being proactive about talking about important issues within the city. I'm continuing that, though. The next day we had a lot of great speakers. Doris Kearns-Goodwin about leadership, about the importance of looking at leaders in the past and how they can influence us. I love to be a student of history. I love to read nonfiction, and I loved reading some of her books in the past. She got me even more fired up to study more, being a good nerd that I am. But we had other great people speaking. Obviously, Bill Ford. And I think Bill Ford really helped with that comment about cohesion in terms of being one of the pillars. If you think about it, a company over 100 years old, and to have his leadership there and setting a direction for the future and the opportunities and great things going on there. But it just kept going with people continuing to speak up, sharing ideas. It was great to have Harold Ford, Dan Sr., good people bringing good ideas, bringing other perspectives, because that only makes us better and stronger when we have a diversity of views. And that's why it was so important to have a panel on race. So it was a great dialogue in terms of many good things. So hopefully you've really enjoyed the conference this year. And when I say enjoyed, hopefully it's not something, not only did you find it enjoyable, but actionable in terms of doing things. But before I make some closing comments on trying to wrap things all up, I actually want to throw it to Sandy because he's got some cool stuff for 2016.
So we have been working on this conference a year in advance, but we're now at the point, and you saw it this year with the number of keynote speakers that we were able to bring to you, that we have to start working on this a year and a half in advance. So I'm really pleased to announce our first keynote speaker for 2016, and that's going to be Saul Kahn of the Kahn Academy, thanks to a partnership with our friends at Bank of America. So Saul will be the first confirmed keynote speaker, and we will be on the island again starting on the 31st of May in 2016. So mark your calendars.
Well, I hope I get a slot next year, too.
I think we can find some room for you,
Governor.
Governor.
Make it happen. We'll make it happen.
Okay, well, hopefully I'll make the list, too. I appreciate that. But Saul Kahn will be really exciting. I mean,
we've been
really
trying to get him
him
for the last 3 years at this conference, and the scheduling's never worked out. He's always wanted to come, but we finally got him. So.
Yeah. So those of you in the education community know the role he's played. Many of you may not be familiar, but if you really want to see alternative ways of learning and the difference that one person can make, he's done a tremendous job. But we have more to do. One of the great things about this conference that really has been one of the innovations over the last few years, as I said, it's not just about having dialogue, discussion, enjoying something. It's about action. And so I think it's great that Mark's going to have an opportunity to walk through some action items. So we have more work to do, right?
We do, yes. The work continues, Governor. Thank you very much. So we have 4 items that we're going to put forth for our to-do list for 15. The first is to continue the ethos of doing well by doing good. And we think that we have an opportunity from this stage to feature some of the amazing civic organizations in our state that are really changing lives every day. And so we're going to embed that in the program starting next year. Secondly, we're going to promote financial literacy. We heard about that at the conference. And target communities where, through partnerships with financial services firms and the foundation and not-for-profit community, we can really raise the bar on financial literacy across our state. 3, support revitalization of Detroit neighborhoods and trying to close that opportunity gap we just talked about through the promotion of entrepreneurship and gaining a better understanding of the micro-lending programs that are already existing in our state and see how we can leverage those forward to give people opportunities to start small businesses in very entrepreneurial ways. And 4th, Governor, roads and infrastructure. We're going to be there with you, and we're going to get it done. Because where we're going, we need roads.
Very good. I like that. That was a good one to end on. Relentless positive action on transportation.
Absolutely.
And as you see, there are things that, this is a great core list of things to work on, but as you heard from the last panel and other things, there are many things for us to work on. And that's really the thing I would ask of you that I talked about yesterday, is if you look at these pillars, the one I would emphasize the most is the cohesion part. We need to be more cohesive. And again, I don't mean that as a criticism. I think we've made tremendous progress over the last few years about working better together. I think this conference is a reflection of that. If you looked at now the agenda items on the conference, the diversity of the attendance coming from all corners of Michigan, not just coming from the business community, having actionable items coming out of it, and having a civil discussion where you heard differences of opinion, but you heard them done the right way, to talk about different ideas, and then how do we go through a process of reconciling those differences to achieve real action. So what I would say is, when you talk about cohesiveness, we have come light years from where we were, but I will always tell you, I don't think I would ever take that off my list. It's a continuous action item, continuous improvement. You can always do better. So let's do this in the context of saying we've come so far, but let's keep going. Let's keep pushing that measure. Let's keep doing better about how we work together. And then with respect to topics, the talent question is one that I believe should be #1 on our list of things as Michiganders that we should be working on. It's an opportunity to see tens of thousands of Michiganders have great, well-paying jobs, careers, opportunities to raise their family. It's the best way to address income disparity. It's the best way to address a number of the issues you heard on that last panel. If someone has a good, well-paying job, we've changed the dynamic. And we have an opportunity to solve a national problem. This isn't an issue that's restricted to Michigan. This is one of the largest problems in our country. This issue of the skilled trades, STEM, finding people with the right skill sets and get them in the right place. And so we do have a true opportunity to lead the nation. And for us not to do that would be a disservice. And particularly when you look at the legacy of Michigan, we are the place that makes things. Made in Michigan is something we should be emphasizing. I love Bill Ford's comments. Made in Michigan is something special, whether it's something that's manufactured, grown, processed, thought up here, created here in some fashion. That's our legacy of who we are. That's our DNA. So shouldn't we be the best at making sure that people have those skills and are the most productive, talented people in the world? And that's how we'll keep business here, and that's how we'll bring more and more businesses here and feed that bright cycle of a future that's cohesive. And then with respect to urban revitalization, look at the progress. I mean, the interesting part, if you step back, people forget. We tend to think, wow, it's great, all the wonderful things going on in Detroit. Well, we only wrapped up the bankruptcy in the last year, since we were here before. Isn't that hard to believe? And we should celebrate the successes. And it was wonderful to have a panel of the people that were at the centerpiece of making that happen. But let's continue that progress. Let's keep working hard. And as you heard, Midtown, Downtown, I am absolutely excited about their future, but we can't leave the neighborhoods behind. And so we need to be all engaged of how we help the neighborhoods of Detroit become sustainable, exciting places where people want to raise their family there. They can raise their family there. They can get an education that's outstanding there. They can have an outstanding career there. Then we've really succeeded. The other thing I'll share with you is let's not forget the poor rural areas of Michigan too. And that's something I'm going to stay focused on in addition to the urban side. We have some corners of Michigan that you may not have ever been, but they have as much poverty and challenge. And we shouldn't leave them out of this comeback of our state. So it's tremendously exciting to have an event like this go on. This is about coming together. This is about talking about important things. This is about doing important things. So I really do want to say thank you for being those tried and true people that want to be here through the whole conference. And I hope you're fired up to take that message back. I would just reiterate what Stephen said at the end when he talked about how he only had a minute left on the panel, but you have more than a minute when you get back home. Make the time to talk about the things you've heard here. Make the time to share what you've learned and to share your passion for what needs to happen. This is not an intellectual exercise. This is about having a passion to bring common sense, to bring a sense of family to all of us. And so, again, I want to thank all the people that made this wonderful conference happen. And let's look forward to next year, building on this and saying, how can we make an even better conference? And I hope you all attend. I hope you all have a safe trip home. But keep talking and keep acting and keep the lot to come back time.
Thanks, Governor.